Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've made a video for this series, and I was thinking I need a way to jump through the boring stuff and get to the good stuff. Keep in mind though that having good knowledge of HTML and CSS is important and does make you a better web developer. I just don't feel like that it's a popular enough topic to go thoroughly into. For these next couple of videos, I'm going to be setting up a new foundation for our mock website that we will be creating. This video will be creating HTML, and the next video will be adding the CSS. We will then start our JavaScript series, and then along the way into server-side PHP and MySQL. You can scrap the old files we created previously if you would like a clean slate, or you can keep them around for memorabilia. That is up to you. In this video, we're going to be looking at creating an HTML document for our mock website, which will be our coffee shop. This website will outline how to use HTML to structure our page, CSS to style and animate our page, and JavaScript to implement any other client-side user functionality. To start off, let's think about how we want our website to look. I'm not concerned with how every page is going to look, just the home page, or better known as the index page. That way when we create our new pages, we can compare them to our index page for consistency. For our coffee shop, I'm thinking we're going to have a small header containing our store name. Please do not mind my drawing. It is terrible. But we're going to have a small header containing our store name / logo. And on the right hand side, we're going to have some navigation links. So over here, I'm just going to type in nav or right. Below that, we will have a section that slides between some images, also known as an image slider. This will also have call to actions. And then below that, we are going to have a new section that contains any recent news. So any articles, blog entries, maybe there is a new product in our store. Maybe we have an address change. Anything like that will show up in here. And then below that, we will have our footer. Now our footer, ooh, that's a little uneven. Our footer is going to have 3 different sections. Don't have a ruler right on here with me. That is uneven, but it will work. So it's going to be split up into 3 different sections. There won't be necessarily a border defining these sections. We'll mess around with that once we get into the CSS. But there are going to be 3 different distinct sections. The first one being our hours of operation, just to be a simple little list. Our second section will be our social media. And then our third one will be any contact info. Now that we know roughly how we want our website to be structured, we can head into PHP Storm and start putting it together. Now, just as a side note, in the previous videos, we were using Atom, which is a free-to-use open source editor. You can, by all means, keep using that editor or any editor you were using before this. I am more familiar with PHP Storm. This is what I use on a daily basis and for my career, so I am more familiar with it. If you would like to, you can try out PHP Storm for 30 days free, or you can purchase it. I believe it is, I think, $20 a month if you're to do a monthly, or $160 for the year. I might be mistaken on that, probably, because I am not too sure. So I'm going to be tailoring this series around PHP Storm for now, but everything is going to be pretty much the same. Shortcuts are going to be a little different, but in terms of content, everything is the same. Nothing changes. So in PHP Storm, I'm going to create a new project. We are going to call it YouTube. No, that's stupid. Coffee we're going to call it the Happy Bean website. And we're going to hit create, and we will open in our current window. Ooh. Starting with a new document, we're going to right click new HTML file, and we are going to call it index.html. If you're using Atom, please use the HTML snippet we made in the previous video. If you don't know what that is or don't have it, please check out the previous video on HTML snippets in Atom. I do not have the up-to-date snippet for PHP Storm, so for these first couple of videos, I'm just going to be using what PHP Storm gives me. For our title, we are going to put in Happy Bean Cafe. So like our document that we drew out, our first section is going to be a header section. And inside of that, we are going to have an H4 tag with our company name. So that will be Happy Bean Cafe. And below that, we will have our navigation, which is just a simple nav element. And that's going to contain a list of anchor tags. Anchor tags are simply references or links to other web pages internally or externally. So to define the web page to reference, we use the hypertext reference attribute, or href, with the value being our web page. So simply, we just type in our a tag, it auto-completes it, but inside of here we are going to put href equals quotation quotation, and we are just going to say about.html, and then type in between the bracket or between the tags about. So the first href equals is our link of the file that we're linking to, or URL, and in the text inside is what is being displayed to the user. I'm gonna copy this 4 times. I'm gonna change the second one to be our menu. So we're gonna publicly display our menu along with our store, and our store is going to contain various amount of different items, and we might even go further into making an e-commerce and have a shopping cart and all that fun stuff. And we're going to go into contact and have a contact page for people to, well, get in contact with us, know us, who we are, and where to find us. Now that we got our header section set up, let's define a section for our image slider. Since we haven't designed our image slider in JavaScript, we will just use a stock photo as a placeholder. We can add images by using the image tag that requires a source attribute, which is the file path to our image. But first, we're going to need to create our section. So we're just going to have a simple section element, and inside of that, we are going to have an image tag, which is just img. Images are self-closing tags, so they do not require a closing tag. I do recommend putting in a forward bracket to let the browser know that it is a self-closing tag. We are going to include that source attribute, so src shortcut for source, and as you can see, I have my image here, images.jpg.jpg. Not a very intuitive name, so I'm going to rename this to refactor, rename, image underscore slider underscore 001. I'm going to refactor that. I am also going to create a new directory called images, and I'm going to throw my image in there, and we are going to update my source so it says images / image slider 001.jpg. Whenever you move an image or file into another directory, PHP Storm does look for references and tries to update those paths, but usually it's best to always go back and check these sources, or else you're going to have broken links and your images aren't going to be displayed properly. Image tags should also have an alternative attribute. This allows text to show in place of the image for those who may not be able to view the image. So we're going to type in alt equals quotation, quotation, and then in there we are going to say Happy Bean Cafe image slider. Sure. It's hard to be it's hard. Alternative should have like a good description of what the image really is portraying. Since it's just a placeholder, we don't really have to worry about it so much. But it's good to just have something there just in case. For our next section, it is the recent news. And then we're just going to have a simple H4, I believe, or we're going to have an H6. So if you guys are noticing what I'm doing here, I am just typing in the tag name and pressing tab. I don't remember if you can do this on Atom. Give it a shot. If not, I believe you can set it up in Atom. I think it might be called Emmet. Emmet, I believe, is like an autocomplete typing thing. So H6 tag, and in there we'll just type in recent news. And that pretty much sums up for that section. We aren't going to have a placeholder of what each article is going to look like on a preview level. We're just going to say, we're just going to display the white space for now. We're just defining the structure. We don't really care about too much. We don't really know or care about the structure of each individual item within the recent news. We just want to know that this is a section for recent news. And our last section is our footer, which is just a simple footer tag. And in here we are going to have 3 sections like we outlined. Our first one, our first section, if I can do this properly, that'd be nice. First section is just going to be, actually all of our sections are going to be outlaid like this. They're going to be a list element, an unordered list element, which is a UL, with 3 list elements inside of them. So an LI, 3 LIs, and we can copy this and paste it 3 times. So now we have our 3 sections, all with an unordered list and all with 3 list elements. So our first section is going to be our hours of operation. And inside of our first list element, we are going to say Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Our second one will be Saturday from, I believe I had it 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. And Sunday will be 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's pretty much it. That's all we need. We can eventually make these links. Hours of operations doesn't seem like something that would be link worthy, but social media or email and telephone, we will make those links. Actually, let's do that right now. So we're going to throw in an anchor tag inside these list elements. So we're saying that we are going to list off text, but we're going to wrap this text as clickable as a link to another source. So essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to have our first one be our Facebook page. So we can say href equals www.facebook.com. And that's just general because we don't actually have a Facebook page. But for the simplicity and for trying to make it look mocky, we are going to link it to Facebook. Our next one will be Twitter, www.twitter.com. And our last one will be, see if you can guess it, Instagram. If you said Pinterest, you're close. If you said Tumblr, I'm ashamed. Instagram. Boom. That's pretty much our third section, or our second section. Our last section is our contact info. And that will going to be semi-links. So the first one will have our address. So we'll say address, colon, and then we're going to start our anchor tag here because we're going to, I want to I don't want the address part to be clickable. I want our actual address to be clickable. So I'm going to say 555, and we'll do 123 some street. And this href is going to be just a hashtag for now. A hash code is just to resemble, pretty much is used as a placeholder. I would advise not using hashtags as an actual value for an href. There's a debate about using it or not using it. I use it for placeholders in production, or if you're going live. Do not use hashtags unless you absolutely need to. There are probably better ways of doing it. And if you're doing it because you want to have JavaScript in it, then there probably still is a better way of doing it. But for now, we're doing a hashtag because eventually what we want to do is link this to a Google Maps with the coordinates, with our placeholder on our street. So that way when the user clicks on our address, it'll open up Google Maps and show them our location. So the next one will be email, and whoop, we're not pasting anything. Nope, sorry. Next one will be phone. And our phone number. So instead of, no, we'll still do href. Href equals, but instead of having what do we do here? How do we link a phone number? Funny you should ask, because we can put in TEL : followed by the phone number. So 1555 123 4567. And then we will have the phone number here. So we'll say brackets 555, close parentheses, 123 hyphen 4567. So what that does, what a tel link does, I call it tel link. I don't know what other people call it, but that's what I call it, a tel link. It's a telephone link. So if you're on a mobile device or you are on the computer with like a program that can call, like Skype, or I think Google Voice might even do something. I don't know if that's even a thing, Google Voice, Google Hangouts. If you click on this link, it'll open up an applicable program, so your dialing app, your phone app on your phone or Skype, and it will load in that number for you to call. Makes it very more user friendly rather than them having to go and copy and paste, and it's a whole mess. And email is going to be our last one. An email is very similar to the phone. You're going to complete this, and we'll say email is info@happybeancafé.com, and the href on here is going to be mail to, and we just make it the same value as what we have inside. happybeancafé.com. Now, don't get confused, or don't think that the text that's being displayed has to match the text that is inside the href. That is not the case. You can simply have this displaying whatever you want and have the underlying value be something completely different. So if you want to say, click here to email us, and have your anchor tags around the word here, so that when they click here, it opens up their email application and loads in info@happybeancafé.com, you can do that as well. You can do whatever you like. So now if we save our page, and we are going to right click, open in browser with Chrome, we can see here that it's not that terrible, but it does look a tad plain. All of this is about to change in our next video, where we will be learning about cascading style sheets, or CSS, and apply them to our web page. Thanks again for watching, guys. Take it easy. Have a great day. Peace.